just crossed into Colorado. Kind of a weird, surreal place, but the reason I'm really here is right here. And next thing, I gotta get my boat down, and I climb down one-handed. Luckily, it just started raining. Isn't that great? And a place to get water. And then I can start to fill. And you can see it tinkling out a little water there. We're in New Mexico. These are all old tires and bottles. And then a lot of them are really ornate. All right, we're in the town of Taos, New Mexico. I had no idea where to camp, so iOverlander. Well, I'm up here driving on this dirt road in the clouds. I don't know where I'm going. I mean, I know where I'm going because I've looked at the map, but I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, New Mexico. It's very cool. Good morning, Utah. It's not that nice out here today. It's cloudy. It's been raining off and on. And I'm right here on the edge of a very dirty, muddy Colorado River. Colorado River means the color red, right, in Spanish. So I guess it's living up to its name right now. It's very, I'd call it more brown, but it's, you could interpret this as red. But I'm here at a beautiful public lands campsite. It was very nice and quiet last night. It was kind of nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of Moab. But we're gonna go on a fun road trip out east for a couple of weeks, and I'm just gonna take you guys along to the trials and tribulations of traveling in a van. This time, we're just gonna get across the country. We're probably gonna camp in some less than awesome places. All right, goodbye, Utah. It's been awesome being out here. I will be back soon. Eek. We're in this nasty clay mud over here. We'll see, hopefully it's not too bad getting out of here. All right, it's raining pretty good, and I just crossed into Colorado. Am I gonna see snow here soon? I think there's a chance of it, but I don't know. It's still a little early in the season, but I think there's definitely gonna be some snow on tops of the high peaks. Well, I'm almost to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and it's still raining. It's kind of dreary, 45 degrees, but you know what? We're driving along the Colorado River here, and one of my good old sections of Whitewater to kayak is coming up. And I'm gonna stop and do a very quick lap down the Shoshone section. So here we go. It's always fun getting to paddle on the Colorado River. Well, we made it. We're at the Shoshone boat ramp, which is actually underneath I-70. Kind of a weird, surreal place. You're surrounded by beautiful natural beauty of these canyon walls, but yet I'm under this weird highway overpass. But the reason I'm really here is right here, the Colorado River. It's still 45 and raining, which isn't the most inspiring weather. I've paddled it a lot colder than this, and it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be kayaking the length of the Grand Canyon in December. It's kind of the off season. I need to stay sharp. It all looks good. Next thing, I gotta get my boat down, get my gear together, unstrap it. Oh gosh, it's full of water too, because it's been raining. Now I'm gonna sponge out a lot of this water. It also makes it a lot lighter as I'm taking this down the ladder. Fingers are going numb and kind of that painful, stinging, cold feeling. All right, I'm gonna swing the boat over here so I can get to it. And then I like to get about halfway or a little more down the ladder. And then I just throw this thing on my shoulder and I climb down one-handed. This is how I do it if Kathy's not here to give me a hand, and it's really not that bad. Whew. Okay, I just gotta get my paddle. I think I might hold the record for the most climbing ascents of a Sprinter van. Paddles are kept up here in a paddle bag. Keeps really the UV off of them, the sun. And it's much easier to get down off the roof with the paddle. All right, now I've done this lots of times before, and I have a place where I stick my boat down here. You gotta promise not to tell anybody if I show it to you. This is a good spot where my boat's just kind of out of sight, and I feel pretty safe leaving it here while I go and run the shuttle, which means drive my van back down and then either walk or ride my bike back up here. And I like to stash my boat right here. There it is. I feel pretty good about it. The casual person coming down here to look probably isn't gonna even notice it. And luckily there's a bike path that goes from the Grizzly Creek rest area back up here. So I'm gonna go down there and leave the van at Grizzly Creek and walk back up here. All right, my boat is right there behind that pillar down low. Should be fine. All right, it's just about a 1.5 mile drive back down. This is a really short run. Luckily, it's got some fun whitewater on it. So let's go down and go to the bottom. All right, we're back down. This is the takeout. This is the Grizzly Creek boat ramp. Okay, I'm in my paddling gear now, as you can see, and I'm gonna start the mile walk back up to where my boat is at the Shoshone put-in. Luckily, it just started raining. Isn't that great? I'm leaving the van right there at the takeout. It's I-70 right there. I'm gonna literally be walking beside it or underneath it for the whole way back up to the put-in. All right, let's hoof it. Well, isn't this weird? I'm walking under an interstate to go kayaking. Now we're in Glenwood Canyon, which is a beautiful, beautiful canyon, and there is a bike path that goes the whole way from Glenwood Springs all the way to the top of the canyon. If you guys are here and you're not paddlers, but you want to explore the canyon, jump on this bike path on your bikes and give it a ride. It takes you through some really beautiful places. It is kind of noisy with the trucks zooming by, but it's still a really nice ride. It's kind of fun doing it this way because I get to look at all the rapids really good as I walk up. You know, it feels good to walk. It's a nice warm up. I'm no longer cold, and I'm gonna have a good run. All right, I am back. Well, that's one thing about being on the side of the highway. Sometimes you find interesting trash. Look at this hand exerciser. I've been looking for one of these. I've made it back to the parking lot and the upper put-in. Let's go retrieve my boat and get on the water. There it is, just where I left it. Here I go, about to slide in. This is the Shoshone section of the Colorado River in Glenwood Canyon. Let's do this. Well, it's raining again, but I still feel like this is just a beautiful day out on the water. I don't mind at all paddling in the rain. I'm actually quite warm, and that's really what makes the biggest difference. Okay, I made it to the boat ramp. This is where I take out. All right, that was a great run down the Shoshone section. I almost can't stop here without paddling. I've done it down to 9 degrees in the winter. It's so fun. But anyway, time to hit the road. I'm rolling into Buena Vista, Colorado right now. Yes, there's snow on the ground here. And boy, this is the first snow I've seen of the year. And I don't know, it feels kind of wintry. We're almost into BV. I'm gonna go spend the night tonight at my buddy Christoph's house, where I've had some packages sent there that I need to pick up. And then tomorrow, we're gonna keep pushing on. Good morning, friends. I've left BV and now I'm over here in Salida, Colorado. I think it's actually more accurate to call this Poncha Springs. And there's a little park here that has a RV dump station over here and a place to get water. I keep my hose back here in the Alvan's box. It is so great for that. I've got a pressure regulator. Sometimes the pressure comes out really strong and it can blow the fittings on your pipes. And then the other side here, I have a quick release, a hose quick release, and I've got another one inside the van. So it keeps me from having to screw that little plastic fitting onto the hose every time I need water. Now I can just click it on, click it off. And then I always use a white hose. I never use a green hose or black hose because I can taste whatever's in the hose, and the white hoses are made to be for drinking water. They don't have any of the foul chemicals or anything that's in the hoses that are just for garden hose. So I really prefer the white hoses. There's a faucet here, which is great. I also like to run a little water through my hose, just in case there's a spider or something in there. Then, I'm also careful of the fittings in there because, you know, they are plastic, and I try not to have any tension from my hose pulling on them. Then there's two valves that I got to turn on. And then I can start to fill. Okay, water is flowing, and now I always kind of listen and make sure there's no leak or anything, and it looks all good. I can feel water going through the hose. Once it's full, it will overflow, and I'll see a little trickle of water come out the back of the van, and it comes out of a drain valve. Then I'll know it's full. It's really nice that Poncha Springs has this dump station here and a water fill station. You can go have lunch right over here at the Thai place that's across the street. It is really good, by the way. Okay, the van is full, and you can see it tinkling out a little water there. Okay, I'm gonna turn off these valves. That's gonna shut my water pump down. Now here's a pro tip. Always disconnect your water line from the faucet side first, not the van. The water's pressurized, right? And if I undo it here, that little bit of pressurized water gets sprayed into my van. If I relieve the pressure down here, that water siphons out, and then when I disconnect it here, I have minimal drops of water that go into my van. And then I always take one into my hose, roll it up, uphill, and you guys can't see it right now, but there is a lot of water coming out of the end of the hose. And this just drains my hose, so then when I put it back in my Alvan's box, it doesn't fill it up with water. All right. Well, this is perfect. I feel exactly the same way. We got to protect them. They're at threat right now. Well, I made it to Alamosa, Colorado. Haven't been here in a long time. I'm just passing through though. I'm gonna keep going south. Well, we are in quite a different place here. Look at the scenery. It's gotten kind of flat, but then there's these big hills that come up out of the plains. It's beautiful. It's almost like we're in New Mexico. And we are. We're at the border. I keep saying that northern New Mexico is a place that I want to explore more, and I'm going to do just that. I'm not going to have a whole lot of time on this trip, but hopefully we're going to hit a few cool spots. They call New Mexico the land of enchantment, and it's pretty enchanting here. I'm liking it. Well, I've made a stop here outside of Taos, New Mexico at a place called the Earthship Biotecture. So every Earthship seems to have its own garden, water treatment facility, ways to generate electricity, and ways to dispose of sewage. They're basically purely independent structures that provide or take care of anything they need. It's pretty interesting. And they're built entirely with recycled or materials that are found on site. These are all old tires and bottles that are used to make these walls. So these houses require no connectivity to the outside world, no connection to the power grid or anything like that. They use these giant windows that also make a greenhouse where they can grow food, and that keeps it warm in the winter. And in the summer, the windows are at such an angle where the sun doesn't directly come in as much, and there's a series of vents that they can open, and then they actually have tunnels that go underground and they circulate cold air from the earth that then blows through the building to then keep it cool. So they can keep one of these at 70 degrees year round. Here in Taos, which gets temperatures from 100 to -30, they can keep it at 70 degrees year round with no outside utilities, no natural gas, no electricity off the grid, nothing like that. They harvest their own electricity through solar and wind turbines and just using the sun to naturally heat the structure. I didn't really know much about this, and it's really interesting to come here and see just how nice they are on the inside. They look kind of crazy from the outside, but on the inside it was beautiful with Adobe walls that were really smooth, and they built all these houses here and they teach people how to do it. They have classes and seminars, and you can come here and go through a class and actually work on building one of these. By using recycled materials like tires and bottles and cans, and they can build a house with 50% less materials needed. They're also using, Adobe, which is basically taking dirt and turning it into mud and then using straw and sand and different things in it to make it into a suitable building surface to cover things. All these walls here are made out of dirt that was found on the site. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool. They've left this wall behind me unfinished intentionally, just so people can see what goes into it, what's on the inside of the wall. But normally they would be plastered off and finished with Adobe, so it would look like just a nice, smooth, almost like a stucco kind of wall. And then a lot of them are really ornate, like the entrance here with arches and towers. And I might have just created more questions for you guys than actually answered questions. And really, I don't know much about this. I just saw this place, thought it was interesting, and decided to stop and take a look and go through their tour. And it was interesting. I learned a lot of stuff. This is a neat stop. So if you guys are up here in northern New Mexico, you might check this place out. Just a couple miles down the road from the Earthships is the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge. There it is, the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge. That was a good stop. Let's keep going to Taos. All right, we're in the town of Taos, New Mexico. Okay, up here, there's supposedly the historic square. I don't know if it's quite like the square in Santa Fe, but I'm guessing it is. It's always fun to go explore that. So let's check out Taos. This will be fun. All right, I made it to the square. It's like a lot of good restaurants, cool shops, galleries, but it's very cool, very New Mexico vibe. I don't know if anywhere's more New Mexican than Taos. Okay, you guys are always asking for the real deal. And tonight, I have no idea where I'm camping. I rolled into Taos kind of evening time, and now I've done my thing in town. Next stop's to figure out where to go camp for the night. So I'm gonna start off referencing my iOverlander app, see what it shows around here. And then also use Onyx and see if it shows any dispersed camping. But there's gotta be something around here not too far. So let's go figure that out. Okay, so this is iOverlander. And here's Taos. And the road that I wanna take is on this highway here. And it shows a couple of places. These little pins here mean different things. This one means it's a paid campground or established campground. This one says the pullout on Highway 64. This is another campground. Let's see, it says Capulan Campground. Sometimes you got to zoom out and zoom in a bunch. Here's another one. Let's see what this one says. Carson National Forest. Oh gosh, and it'll play these ads occasionally. It says beautiful spot in Carson National Forest in the middle of aspens, pine trees. Road is relatively good, bit rocky in places. Wow, this sounds great. And then I can go on here and pull up a picture and see, oh yeah, that looks nice. And then you can also go down here and read reviews. And I find the reviews are very handy because here's the 16th of July, 2025. So it's not super recent, but it says really nice, calm place to sleep and have a rest. Parked along the road and no one passed by. That could be a potential. I don't really want to go too far because I want to be able to see a lot of this scenery tomorrow. But if you look here, there's this road. It's probably a dirt road that comes off of the main highway. And look at all these spots. This is kind of a treasure trove. Multiple campsite along Forest Service Road 5. This is a particularly large spot, big enough for several tents and cars. Okay. So this place looks really good. So I'm going to hit directions and then I can copy the GPS coordinates. And I find that this is more accurate than letting it guide me there. I copy the coordinates and then I stick it in my Google Maps. I just copy and paste it in, then hit go, and it's going to tell me, yeah, it's 30 minutes away. Here's the route. I'm fine with driving 30 minutes right now. I think that'll be great. So I'm going to hit start, and it's going to take me there just like normal. So basically, anytime we're somewhere where we aren't familiar or don't have a favorite campsite, which a lot of places we go to, we do. We know exactly where we want to camp. But here, you know, I haven't been to Taos in 25 years, maybe more. I had no idea where to camp. So now I do. And I'll look at these other spots as I go up, and I'll just keep an eye on them to see how they look. I do that for a couple of reasons, but the main reason is if I get to where I want to go and it's full and there's nowhere to stay because there's too many people there, then I always like knowing what's behind me. So if I needed to backtrack a little bit and go somewhere, I know maybe if those spots are open. So this is the game we play all the time, especially when we're traveling in new areas. This is exactly how we did it in South America. iOverlander is a great app and will get you usually to somewhere really decent. And if there's not a free place on public land, then you know it tells you the campgrounds too, and you can pick one of those and go to there. All right, let's get moving. Wow, it is a beautiful drive. I'm just kind of gathering that this might be called the Taos Canyon. It's a windy road, it's beautiful, and I am seeing a lot of campgrounds along here, like Forest Service campgrounds, but it looks like they're closed for the season. They're all gated off and no one's in them. So it could be good that I'm going to the wild camp. That's where I wanted to go anyway. All right, I'm enjoying northern New Mexico. Well, iOverlander did it again. Took me to another beautiful place. And it led me back here, and I passed way more campsites than was listed in iOverlander. And frequently, that's what happens when you get to these dispersed camping areas, is there's a handful of them listed. But as you get back here, you'll find that there's quite a few to choose from. Look at this. I found this nice one right here. And this is gonna be home for the night. So I hope that helps you guys find some campsites as you're looking for them, especially the wild campsites. Those are my favorites. I love being back in a place like this where there's not really any neighbors, and it's just a little more peaceful and wild to me. But you know, if you're a little nervous about wild camping like this, or boondocking as some people call it, test the waters with iOverlander. You can go to some of these national forest campgrounds, stay in those, come and scout out a spot like this. If it feels good to you, then come and give it a try one night. I think you'll be really pleased. But the big thing is we just want to take care of these spots so that the people who manage these lands, in this case it's the Forest Service, we don't want them to feel like these spots are being abused and then need to come in here and make corrections, meaning block them off, mark them as no camping, force everyone into the campgrounds. That's kind of the easiest thing for them because then everybody's contained in one space, but it is not as great of an experience for people out here using this. We just want to be good stewards of the land, take care of it, leave it better than you found it. I often will walk around, pick up trash, and at least try to haul out some trash. And sometimes it's just tiny little bits of a wrapper or cigarette butts or whatever it might be. I'll try to pack some of that out. And I think if everybody just did a little bit and then nobody left anything, we're going to end up with some really clean places. Just actually like this one. We've got some campfire debris here, but you know, that's not too bad. I'm not seeing a lot of trash and stuff, so that's really good. Let's keep it that way. It's getting a little late tonight. I got to get to work, so I have a video for you guys on Friday. So I'm going to say good night here. Good night. Well, I'm up here driving on this dirt road in the clouds. It is, it's not zero visibility, but it's definitely kind of socked in up here. This is actually a really pretty drive. The road is turned to dirt. I don't know where I'm going. I mean, I know where I'm going because I've looked at the map, but I don't know where I'm going. This feels really different than what I thought it was going to be like. I feel like I'm on some kind of little Forest Service road. It's going to drop me out on the other side of the mountains, and then I'm going to go to Texas. So, yeah, New Mexico. It's very cool. There is a lot of good things to discover up here. This is kind of fun. This was New Mexico 120. What a surprise. I'm just a little ways east of Taos. It's pretty country out here, and that road was a total surprise. I thought it was going to be a paved 2-lane road the whole way. It turned out to be a 1-lane dirt road for at least 10-15 miles of it. Hi. That's what I really like about travel, is being surprised and discovering new things. I certainly got both of those today.
Next week, the adventure pushes on through a dramatic canyon, a night in a forgotten town, and onward to family and the beauty of familiar places. Van life takes me east. Until next time, I hope I see you somewhere over the horizon.